Welcome to the second part of this tutorial on how to paint Ghazghkul thraka. On this part we are going to focus on how to paint his face. First, we will apply a mix of Dead World Forest and Rhinox hide. We need to cover all of the skin with this color. Now we will add Elysian green on top. We need this color on most of the skin, just avoiding the most hidden sections. The next thing I'm going to do is blend together the two colors by adding more Dead World Forest on top of the Elysian green, but I will apply it only in the parts where the two colors meet. I use very little paint on my brush, because I don't want this to run over everywhere. The next color will be Bugman's Glow. We will use this color for the lips, for the ears, for the eyelids and the gums of this guy. Now, just as before, I'm going to blend together the two colors. I am going to use Elysian green to blend with the Bugman's Glow. For this part, you're going to need to blend together the colors very carefully, so I recommend you to use very little paint on your brush each time. For the highlights of the skin, I chose Vallejo Dead Flesh. This paint is really bright, really light and still quite green. It's going to help us have a very nice bright skin for this orc. I need to apply it only in very small spots because it's going to look very reflective. It is very important that you place the highlights in the right spot. This is what's going to make this miniature look real and with a real light on it. Now I'm going to blend the colors even more by mixing Elysian Green with Death World Forest, and apply this in the parts where I think the color is still not smooth enough. Now for the inside of the mouth of this guy, I'm going to go with Ghazghkul fur. I decided there was not enough contrast on the head, so I'm going to go back to follow the same process. I'm going to first do the highlights with Vallejo Death Flesh, and then I'm going to go back to Elysian Green and mix the colors together to get them in a nice blend. I'm going to paint the fangs of this guy with Vallejo Elfic Flesh. I'm also going to use this paint to paint the one eye of this guy. I'm going to use rocket flesh to paint the sewing threads of this guy's neck. It's a small detail, but it really adds up. Now for the lens, we're going to start with lead belcher. Now we're going to use Agrax Earthshade on both the lens metallic parts and the fangs of this guy. To have a little bit of contrast, we're going to paint the lens of this guy red. And to start, I'm going to apply a thin base of Mephiston red. Then I'm going to apply some Wild Rider red, but only the lower part. Another thing I'm doing is to simulate the red glow effect on his left eye. To do this, I am going to water down the paint and then let it fall into the eye socket of this model. While this is still wet, I'm going to dry up my brush and use it to suck out the humidity of this. This is going to uncover the original eye that was painted before. Still, we're going to add a little bit of humidity back, with a little bit of water on my brush, to spread thin the paint, because we want some transparency in this eye socket. Next, to increase contrast on the lens, I'm going to use Rhinox hide on the upper area. Remember how we have then in the lower section, Wild Rider red, then we have Mephiston red, and then we will have Rhinox hide. Finally, what we need is a small white point that is going to simulate the reflection on the lens. You can simply add a small point in the top area of the lens. I put too much white on the reflection on the lens, so I have to cover it a little bit with Rhinox hide. But if you did not make this mistake, you can ignore this step. Finally, we're going to retouch the fangs of this guy with a little bit of Vallejo Elfic flesh to give some more highlights on the tip of the fangs of this guy. And with this, the head of this guy is finally done. If you like this video, remember to touch all those buttons down there, the like button, the subscribe, the bell, etc. You can also check my Instagram, where I saturate people with pictures of whatever I am painting. Let's move on now to the next part of the tutorial, where I'm going to show you how to paint the square pattern of the orks in a simple and easy way.